management, I think, is always the most difficult part, but we have them in a drawer system where the kids know that when they come for phonics that day, they need to get their markers and whiteboards and erasers, and then they also need to grab a word ladder. Our students just know that on Thursdays that's what we do, so they know that that's something that they need to grab on their way. We have them laminated and then put into a plastic page protector sleeve so that they're easily erasable. We don't copy them every week for the kids. We don't want to have anything extra that we have to copy or make. And since they were provided for us, we just have them in sheet protectors so that we can use them week after week. Our sight words for this week. The first sight word is the word all. 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 I want you guys to think of a sentence that has the word all in it. Turn to your partner.
Scalia.
Okay, turn back. Turn back, please. Thank you. I heard a really awesome sentence. Are you ready to hear what this sentence is?
Yes.
I went all over.
What?
I went all over. Oh my goodness, that's such a good sentence. Are you ready to write that sentence? Yeah. Go ahead. I went. Ooh, let's listen for that word went. Nope, you're writing mine. I went all over. What do you think goes at the end of your sentence? Remember, over is a sight word. O-V. What goes before that? R.
Over.
E-R. O-V-E-R is over. I went. Let's look at this one. A lot of times we'll have our higher level students come up with these really elaborate sentences that we just don't have time for everybody to write. So we pick one that is not going to be too easy and not going to be too difficult, in the sense that it has some other sight words that maybe we've practiced, so we can kind of tie that in. We also will look for sentences that obviously make sense, and ones that are not going to take us too much time to do. We also want to make sure that the sentence has words that we anticipate our kids would be able to spell and sound through, so ones that have words that we've talked about that kind of phonics pattern in them before. The first word is I. You need to make sure that it's a capital I. Went. Who can help me spell went? Christian.
W-E-N-T.
Went. Next one, really quick. I went all. That's our sight word. Everybody together. A-L-L. Good. I went all what, Christian?
Over.
Over. Help me spell over, everybody.
O-V-R.
O-V-E-R. Am I done with my sentence?
No.
What do I need?
A period.
Kyra?
A period.
Yes. Read that sentence, please. Good job. Erase your boards. 3, 2, 1. Put your board and your marker away and your eraser. We love the Phonics Stories, and our kids do too. So we obviously read them every day during our phonics time, but we also have them in their book boxes for them to be using during their independent reading time. We want our kids to have access to those decodable texts, especially our struggling readers, because that gives them an access point that they wouldn't necessarily have with other types of text. So we have them in their book boxes. We also have the Phonics Stories from previous modules in our retelling center so that they can look at those and then retell the stories, because the idea is that these texts have a problem and a solution and characters that they can talk about. We also use them in our word work and sight word center so that they can look for patterns that we've been talking about during our phonics instruction, and also look for sight words that they can find in them.
All right, here we go. Are you ready? Get your stories and let's go. Here we go. Everybody together. Josh had a wish for a dog. Josh had a cat and Josh had his cash with him. Josh saw Shep at the pet shop. Josh got to take Shep home. Go ahead and read with your partner, please.
Josh had a wish for a dog. Josh got his cat.
Turn back to me. Now that we've had a little bit more time to practice, let's try reading that one more time. Are you ready? Everybody together. Here we go. Josh had a wish for a dog. Josh got his cash and dashed to the pet shop. Josh had his cash with him. Josh saw Shep at the pet shop. Josh got to take Shep home. Nice job. What was Josh's problem that he had in the beginning of the story? What was his problem, Parker?
He needed cash to get the dog.
He wanted a dog and he needed cash to get the dog. So how did he solve his problem? What did he do? Lila?
He took his cash and ran to the pet shop.
He did. How do you know he ran? It said a different one.
Dash means ran.
Dashed means to run. Yep, so he dashed to the pet shop and he got to take what?
Shep home.
What's Shep?
A dog.
Shep?
The dog.
A dog. It doesn't say it's a dog. How do you know it's a dog?
That's the name of the dog.
It's the name of a dog, but how do you know it's a dog and not a cat? What do you think, Caroline?
Because, like, a shepherd, they're like, because a shepherd is...
A German Shepherd is a kind of dog. Does it say that Josh wanted a cat? No, what did he want? A dog. Nice job.
It shows up everywhere and everything that we do. When we have the kids read or write anything, it shows up. We have kids all the time tell us, look, I found an SH, or look, I found the short A, or when they're reading, they're able to, I was actually just doing a running record with a student where he got to an SH and he said this sound in the beginning and then he changed it to SH. We see it show up in their writing all the time. So they are able to write more fluently because they are able to understand the sounds that make, or the letters that make the sounds in their writing. We see it with sight words all the time when they're reading as well. So not just in our reading part of our day, but also in science. If they're reading a text in science, they're able to find those sight words there and use them to help them decode text. I have already seen such a huge improvement in our ISIP scores for the phonetic or alphabetic decoding piece of it. I've also seen for the spelling part of ISIP, our kids' scores have just gone through the roof. So those kids that we typically see struggle with that piece, and in past years they've struggled with that piece all year long, and they've always been on tier 2 or tier 3 for those pieces of ISIP, are all of a sudden now scoring in tier 1 because they have those skills and it's been explicitly taught to them.